Welcome back to In the Oven with Brad and Adam.
What up?
We have some good ones today.
Yeah, we actually studied a little bit.
We did a little research before we came in here. We want to try to get to the point where we talk a little bit more about some social topics.
Yeah. I don't know. Have a direction, you know? We're getting there, y'all.
Yeah. So the first thing, I want to start like the least crazy thing up to the more crazy thing. So the least crazy thing would be some people were saying they want to boycott Taylor Swift over her merch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're not happy with the quality.
Yeah. Someone showed a picture of like what they ordered, what they got, and they said, this is what I expect from like Timu or whatever. Yeah.
It's what you got. You got it from Timu.
Yeah.
They just went on there real quick and got ahead of you and skimmed it probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it UMG or what? One of the big houses, you know, they own all the artists. They own all the rights to everything. So their likenesses and stuff, when it's printed on anything, they get a minuscule royalty.
Right.
And man, this is I guess kind of a business topic if you think about it. Those companies are so fat and inflated that they really have to buy things for pennies to make any money.
Right.
Even though the margins are insane, you probably paid $50 for that Taylor Swift shirt. There's so many hands. Yeah, man. Gosh, that's what sucks. So it sucks about growing a company because you need them sometimes, but then when you look at something like that, it's like, damn, you know, granted she wouldn't own the likeness, but if she just hired some kids and we taught them how to get on Alibaba. Yeah. You know, I mean, you could make so much money.
Well, the real sad part is like, obviously I think they said there was like $200 million in merch sales.
Yeah.
But the truth is, if it would have been good quality, it would have gone gangbusters because people want to support Taylor Swift. Yep. And I think a lot of it was just about items not being in stock. So it's almost like, if you just did it right, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of like cutting corners.
Yep. Fast. Yeah, they do it kind of cheap and easy.
Yeah.
Cheap and easy. Well, so on the artist side of things, you know, she's living her life producing, you know, making music and doing all that stuff. She doesn't, you know, probably have the bandwidth of the team yet. I mean, she's still so dang young. She's been in the game already so long.
Oh, yeah, a long time.
That, I mean, she's probably already a billionaire. I don't know. But if she's not, she's got the...
She is. Her Eras Tour made her billionaire.
Sweet. Well, she's got decades ahead of her in time to build real teams. And so she can be like... I mean, look at Rihanna. I mean, you don't even hear music from her anymore, dude. She's killing it.
Well, and Jay-Z and those kind of guys, they have so much more money.
Yeah, man. Rihanna, Savage Fenty, dude. That thing took over a whole industry.
Yeah.
It was like, see you, Victoria's Secret.
Right, yeah. So that was the first topic that I saw that I was like, ooh, this would be interesting.
Yeah.
The other one is maybe Eastman will find a photo for this. But I think it's in the UK, someone was giving a Willy Wonka experience tour, and they used AI generated images to sell this tour.
Yeah.
And when I tell you it was a warehouse with sparsely decorated things and a woman in a green wig that did not look like she wanted to be there.
Y'all, they straight catfished the whole public, dude. Imagine y'all seen Solara videos or AI or whatever. Just imagine it, right? The biggest, wow, this is going to be amazing. And then you show up and it looks like, I don't know, where the people that work at a fair, like, go hang out. I don't know, dude. It looked like they had like a little mini meth lab in the corner. This lady looking creepy as hell. Some stuff that looked like it was rejects from Party America. I mean, it was bad. This thing looked like you were going to pay money and be in a wonderland. No.
Yeah, it literally was like they were supposed to be like chocolate fountains and stuff. And I can tell you right now, if they had a chocolate fountain, it was a fondue fountain that was about that
like
tall.
Garbage factory in there, dude.
So that was a really funny one that I saw. Just because it's just with AI, becoming more prevalent, dude, you're gonna have a lot more issues like this. You know,
OpenAI has been like releasing stuff just on socials of what they're doing with like Solara, and it's freaking nuts. The ability to make it look where they do the hyper real or whatever it's called, where you can go, okay, I can tell it, but the realism that they've got now, where you're like, is that a real bird?
Yeah,
I can't.
I remember they showed a video of The Rock eating spaghetti, and then they showed him eating spaghetti like an old AI, and it was like terrible. It was like glitching. It like you could tell it was fake.
Right.
The new one you could still tell was fake, but it was insanely better.
Yeah.
Like it was.
Well, and it's the pace, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it used to take, granted, technology's always been very fast, but it used to take 6 to 12 months for things to like blow your mind. Like, think video games. Like, oh, wow. I remember when like the Quake 3 engine, the Unreal engine
came out the first time.
Like, oh, man, it's so real. It looks like Roblox now.
Yeah.
You know, but again, 6 months ago, type in The Rock eating spaghetti, and it looked kind of whack, but it was like, oh, that's fun. And then now you're like, oh, whoa.
Yeah.
All the limitations they're having to put in place to like prevent it from like authorizing things.
Well, yeah, and that kind of brings us up to apparently Google shut down Gemini's image creation recently over it being too woke. And by what I mean by that is they said like depict certain like the founding fathers as different races and things like that, and it would do it, and it would say depict this person, and if you asked it to make a white person, it would essentially tell you that it couldn't do that because of, I mean, just
FY people.
Yeah, it just said we would. It won't
white
do
people
it.
suck. Whatever.
Said that it doesn't celebrate diversity to just include them, but then if you ask it to do black people, it does it because it does celebrate their diversity. But either way, it caused an uproar on Google for Gemini.
It's a weird kind of wokeness that has never really resonated well with. I just don't understand it. How you can like. You would have to think that it's true. And so like if somebody got a raw deal, if somebody got whatever, yeah, okay. But like, you know, and I'm trying to be careful because I am sensitive, but like I don't think any race is better than any, it's your skin color. That's stupid. But so basically what I'm saying is somebody somewhere is having to program into the computer like these races need help. They're not like my brain is saying that the person that's programming it thinks that they need the help.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody needs the help like that.
Well, I mean, also, I think my main issue is it's all about how you look, not your actual race. Because technically, I'm Native American, and if I told someone I'm Native American, they're like, "No, you're white."
Right? Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, why do you get to erase like my cultural background because I don't look the part?
Well, it's like the Tate brothers are as black as Barack Obama was. They just look slightly different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of luck of the draw there. No, I don't know, man. I've traveled out of the country enough. I don't know if it's, I don't have too many abroad friends, so I can't really like speak like this is an American issue, but it's like, I've been to Africa. I've been to North Africa anyways. I've been in the Middle East. I've seen ultra wealthy people that didn't have my skin color. I've seen, I mean, in America too. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, go to an Asian country, and there's going to be a shit ton of Asian people better than you at everything. Go to a mostly black, and there's going to be black people everywhere that are better than you. It's like an average thing. If you spend a lot, so I don't know, man. I think that the wokeness that's being perpetuated is crazy. None of my ethnic, I mean, yeah, my black friends rag on me about shit, but like, it's joking. They're not, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. Like, there's no, I don't know, man. Racial tension just seems to be mostly on the news to me.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying.
I don't know.
I feel like, I think the extremes have gotten louder, and I think majority of people still fall in the middle, and they're like kind of like looking around like, oh my gosh, you know.
Well, I don't know, man. I don't know about the, whatever. I'm far from educated on the nuances of it, but like, I don't run into racial tension. I hang out. We have an ethnic crowd here, or diverse crowd here, if you will. I eat food from all over the place. I'm constantly at a restaurant that is mostly not white people. I don't see it. I don't. I mean, yeah, I guess maybe I get identified. We're like, I mean, I got blonde kids, a blonde wife or whatever. Man, I'm like the white family that comes to the dang Vietnamese restaurant all the time because we eat pho a lot, or the Indian restaurant all the time.
Right.
But my brain doesn't like do anything with like, oh, a brown person, or like, it doesn't even come into my.
Well, yeah, I think Morgan
logic.
Freeman said that, there's an interview with him that's really popular where he got asked how he felt about Black History Month, and he said he hates it.
Yeah.
And he said that he wishes it was gone.
Yeah.
And he's like, where's White History Month or Jewish History Month or any of that stuff? He's like, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And he said, so Black History Month doesn't need to exist either. And then he said the real moment that we can move to actual diversity is when we stop even focusing on the color of skin.
I agree with you.
altogether.
Yeah, I agree with you from the standpoint of if you were to loop things in and be like, okay, just shove it in the month of February. Whereas it's like, man, there are a ton of, and again, I mean, I guess we should be learning, I mean, we're learning world history in history. So pick a country that had a different race, and there's all kinds of noteworthy people about, you can learn about from there. Yeah, I don't know. I think it feels lazy. I feel like, I mean, all the normal ones, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, all the folks that we normally study, I don't care when you study them, you need to study them. You need to know what they did for this country. Study them whenever.
Right,
I don't think we need to. It's almost like segregation, dude. I don't know what. Shove them in the month of February.
Well, I mean, not just that. Speaking of segregation, I mean, there was. I forgot where it was. I saw this on the news. There was somewhere that created a blacks only bathroom, and they did that for like blacks to feel inclusive. And people were like, they're like, you realize that we spent so long getting rid of segregation. And I guess it's not like you have to use that bathroom, but only black people can go into that bathroom. So it's just, I feel like it's just really weird because everyone wants to be celebrated for being different, yet we like are lumping people into like categories and saying like, no, you're in this box, but everyone wants to be. So it's weird to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and maybe that's my white privilege.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it seems like if you were to go back and ask somebody that dealt with segregation, and if they just took the whites only sign and put it on the other bathroom and it said like black people only bathroom, it's effectively the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all, but I mean, cool, whatever.
Well, and
wake up, be as woke as you want to, right?
Well, and I think the hardest part is like racism is whenever you
two white guys here talking about racism.
Well, yeah, I know. When you treat if you treat someone differently based on their race.
I get it. Yeah.
That's it. You can do it for the positive and you can do it for the negative on that. But it's just you're treated differently based on your race. So it doesn't matter if you're white, if you're black, if you're Indian, if you're
short of very specific
Asian.
Medical stuff that I know exists, but I do not know what it is well enough to talk about it. Race is like, man, you're human race. You got different skin than me. Cool. I want to know where you're from, because where you're from is going to tell me a lot more than like your skin tone.
Yeah, because cultural differences are bigger.
And what you had to go through or do or whatever. Geographically, again, I've done some traveling, so, and granted, some of these are more, isolated areas, but like, look, if you're from these areas, you probably have these traits because it's culturally, like it's locationally specific. If your great-great-grandfather was from Mexico and you lived in America and you, fully, you kind of got rid of, you didn't really have a lot of Hispanic traditions, or you were a white kid born in Mexico, or I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know you're going to have traits because I know people from there. I know, the celebrations.
Well, I mean,
and
like Eminem being born in Detroit where he was born, like he culturally is a different lifestyle than what you would normally associate with him. I think I just want to touch on this. You said, two white guys talking about racism.
Oh, I know. That's going to be the comment.
No, but no, the reason that I used to be scared to talk about things on social media because I was so scared of other people's opinions on what I thought. And the truth is, most people that have something negative to say about my opinions is just because my opinions don't align with theirs.
Yep.
Most people want to follow people or be around people that make them feel like they're normal or what they're doing is like right or whatever it is. So the moment you stray from the way other people feel like you should think, they get upset and angry at you. And so the truth is, I mean, there's probably some people out there way more educated on this topic than me that would tell me some things that may change my perspectives on little bits of it.
Comment below.
Yeah, but the truth is, my perspective now is that our society has focused so much on creating diversity that it's more racist now.
Well, you're pointing it out all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, like, but man, touching on that, looking at, man, caring what people think. It's a thing like with leaders, people that have natural leadership tendencies, because you have to know the right way to go, regardless of what everyone else thinks. So, but what you will realize, or if you guys haven't realized this, like you said, man, people want to project their own shit at you, but people don't even like themselves.
Yeah.
So, like, why are you trying to make me like you and you don't even like you?
Right.
I know where we're going. Come on. You know, so it's like, just remember that, like, as long as you're being authentic and it's you, and you know, if you say some shit, you got to stand up for it. I would stand up for everything we've said and normally say. I don't say anything extra off camera. So I don't really care what y'all think. You know, because I'm right and y'all are wrong, unless you agree with me. So that's easy. But no, really, I mean, how many people do you run into that are just going to tell you all the negative things about themselves?
Yeah.
And then tell you how you should live.
Right.
And you're like,
yeah, I mean, it's true. Or how many people will be, same thing, people will cheer for you the moment you say you're going to do something. And then when you actually do it and you're successful at it,
slow down, stop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're trying too hard.
Yeah.
You're working too much.
Yep.
You're doing this. So yeah, it's interesting. I think that I'm reading a book right now. I wish I could remember the name of it, but I think it's some kind of like, it starts out with a guy who like is this Japanese like philosophical type person, and he was saying that like life was simple, and this young kid came to argue with him over whether life was simple or not, and he's like, you know, there's death. He's like, it's only simple for maybe a child, because then when you get older, you realize about like having to pay taxes, like all this stuff. And he said, and the example he gave was, have you ever drank water from a well? Because water from a well is about 60 degrees, no matter if it's summer or winter. But if you drink it in the summer, it tastes cold. And if you drink it in the winter, it tastes warm. And the whole philosophy is it's our perspective on situations that make it difficult. So life is simple.
Yeah.
People just bring their own perspectives into everything to complicate it.
Sure.
So if you really just pull out things to just the simplest form of what it is, instead of your feelings about it or, you know, all this stuff, then it's very simple. And I'm only literally like
very
20
wise.
minutes
very
into
stoic.
20 minutes into
I
the
like
book,
reading
so.
stoic stuff too. Like Marcus Aurelius and stuff like that too, because it's very simple.
It's literally, the book's called like How to Not Care What Other People Think About You.
Yeah. The subtle art of not giving a shit.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's, but no, I mean, I have that book too. I've read that one,
It's
but
pretty good.
yeah, I think that for me, I've always wanted to try to like better myself mentally, and hear different perspectives than mine, because I feel like it makes you just a better person, because the most experienced people you know have the knowledge from the experience,
well,
right?
it's wisdom through experience,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So wisdom, if you could have, you know, Solomon or whatever, like if you could get the wisdom without having to do it, you could take over the world. Yeah, the wisdom. I mean, wisdom is everything, because it adds to your confidence. It adds to everything. I've done this shit before. We've talked about this, but I've done this shit before, so I know I can do it again. Or I've done, you know.
But I think that
and
comes
if you
with
can learn
reading
from
too.
others,
Yeah.
well, that's the thing. Yeah, you can, if you can go, and I'm a quick learn when I go, yep, that's me. I don't like that about myself. I'm changing it.
And I think we talked about this. Didn't you say something about like if you read 2 books on any topic?
I don't remember, it's 2 or 3. Tim Ferriss, yeah. Read the top 3. I think it's 3. So say 3. The top 3 books on any topic, you're like better. 95% of the, I mean, just.
Yeah. You know more about that topic than like 95% of people if you just read 3 books on that topic.
Yeah. If you want to know anything, I mean, of course, YouTube, Crate, whatever. If you're a fast reader, I'm a fast reader. Shout out to my mom for getting me reading early. But I'm a fast reader.
And your ADHD.
Yeah, and my ADHD helps me read even with the sounds and stuff. But the For Dummies series, y'all, don't sleep on those.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're simple. They're broke down. They're like, if you want to get the concepts, you can skim through one of those and you should be able to read one in a week, even if you're not a fast reader. They're not hard books. They're not but they go into crazy concepts, so you can start real high, go down in low. They're written by all different people. So, and then if you like the writer, or, find out more about the folks that had input into it, you can of course dive into their stuff.
Do you know who should read more?
Who?
The guy at McDonald's who decided to punch a fast food worker just because the worker touched his lid. I think is what it was, right?
Yep.
And then the other one was Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin', yeah, dude. Guy threw a cup of coffee into the attendant lady's face
after she gave it to him for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, and caused burns on her face.
Yeah.
Which is just wild. I don't know what the world's coming through, but it's just like I can't imagine, I don't know, someone making me so mad.
I can't imagine, no. Yeah. I can't, first of all, at a fast food, like what? I can't, I mean, you have your food like as you pay. And then to attack a woman, like this was a dude.
Yeah.
Like, fuck no.
Well, I just like, I can't imagine, you know, I mean, you've owned a fast food, a few fast food establishments. Like you probably know that like most of the people in there are, you know, making okay money, not the greatest, but at the end of the day, like they're just there trying to do their job.
Yes,
and they're just
very
at the end of the day, they're not there to piss you off. Like it's not like their goal is like, oh, when this guy pulls up, I'm going to make him mad.
No,
right?
Man. And
so it's just so weird that people don't want to work through those things. You know?
Well, and the service industry folks, man, the folks y'all deal with on a day-to-day basis, be nicer to them, man. They're working for not a lot of money. You know, we think of servers all the time, you know, tip your servers and stuff. That's, you know, do that, but be nicer. Like, just, first of all, they'll treat you better.
Yeah.
They will.
Think about your people that you talk to. If they're nice to you,
yeah,
you
man,
treat
like,
them better.
I'm sorry that everyone else decided to come here for lunch today. It's not the person behind the counter's fault that you're going to be late getting back to work. It's not their fault that you didn't have food. It's not their fault that you're hungry. They're just, you want fries with that?
Yeah.
No or yes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry I touched your lid. I'll get you a new top of your lid. That's what it protect. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Like, but if you were like, oh man, I'm a germaphobe, can you get me another lid? They'll be like, here's a damn sleeve of lids.
Yeah.
You know, like, sure.
Yeah. Well, and the truth is, if you had such a bad experience and like your main hang up is you wanted a refund or you didn't want to pay, it's like, call your credit card company at the end and be like, hey, this is the situation. Like, I need to charge back on this because XYZ. And the
ask
credit card
for a
company
manager. Yeah, just ask for a manager. Because, you know, I mean, right, we've all worked low-level jobs, right? Put yourself in their shoes. And y'all just born wealthy out there. We've all worked low-level jobs. You have no authority. Like, I don't, like, some people don't even have any authority to even give a refund. They wouldn't know how to start. They just know how to beep, beep. Thank you. This is the level of talent where it's out here, guys. I mean, we're working with them. There's many reasons why these people are there. I'm not trying to pick on any of them, but they're working that job because that's the job they need, and they're there to collect a paycheck, not to deal with your bullshit. Yeah, you know. So
yeah, so it was definitely a wild story hearing about that one. But the crazier story is probably the insider trading.
Our boy Taylor.
Yeah, Tyler.
Taylor.
So long story short, I've read a little bit about this. I know you saw a brief synopsis, but Tyler was married to someone that worked at BP in mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah.
And what was the name of the centers? The Travel
America. Travel Center of America, or whatever, the big TA or whatever. You've seen them. Gas stations.
Anyways, he was eavesdropping in on conversations
COVID, right?
during
They're working
COVID,
from home.
Working from home. And because of the information that he got from her, he went and bought like 50,000 shares or something of this Travel America. And then once the merger was announced, the share prices jumped
in his own name.
71%.
Idiot.
Yeah.
You can't, I mean, that's insider trading. It's your spouse.
Yeah.
Finro, have that ass, boy.
Yeah.
I mean, most people at least do it through somebody else.
And he sold it immediately.
I know.
Immediately.
No, man, dummy.
I mean,
stock price dropped because of his sell, because he had so much of the shares, right? Stock price.
It had to have probably
dropped well, actually, no. Yeah, he sold like right before they closed a bunch or whatever. Whatever was going to tank that stock price.
Yeah.
So he came ahead like however much money.
1.7 million. But they were talking about he was only.
Well, your wife's in mergers and acquisitions at BP is $1.7 million, even all that
so
much money?
he was claiming this is so that he didn't have to work as much. He could work less now.
Oh.
But listen, the stock prices were only up 70%. Which, I mean, it's still a lot. They didn't even double, which means he had to put in $1 million to get to the 1.7 million. So if you got $1 million of extra cash laying around, granted, you're not going to do it in 1 year, get a 70% bump, but there are a lot of things that you can invest in that will return money that after a few years, you'll have quite a bit more money.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. You can leverage that cash too. make a lot of money today.
Yeah, what is it? I think it's 7% you can double your money in 10 years, or is it in 7 years you can double your money at 10%, something like that. At 10% interest, you can double your money in 7 years.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
Sweet.
So the stock market, Vanguard fund, year over year, like on average over a 30-year period, returns 10%.
Sweet, sick.
So even if you grab a recession in there or whatever, so if you think about that. If you just put $1 million away,
I'm not a financial person.
Waited for don't take this
no
as financial advice.
given.
Do not take this as financial.
Yeah, commercial multifamily. I can help y'all out though.
Yeah.
Holler at me.
So, but no, I thought that was a very wild story. You know, there was a lot of comments on that story about whether members of the Senate and Congress should also be involved.
Yeah, man, that's so sketch, dude. The one, you know, I'll try and get some homework, but the big one was like the postal real estate, where some senator, brother-in-law, whatever, I don't know, got a hold of all these like parcels for like nothing, you know, and they were like, I mean, post offices are normally pretty decent pieces of real estate. They're bigger than they need to be.
Right. They're big.
They're always just like federal money, you know. The federal's just big old pieces of land, and so if you can get them at stupid cheap prices.
Well, it reminds me of that one 77 is massive over there. I mean, Sherman Avenue is a big piece of land, but it's like not really that great of a location. But like the one on 77, like that's prime.
There's one right over there behind, you know, on Lisenby. I mean, there's ones like tucked all around, and like in cities where they've like grown around them.
Yeah,
a little flat postal building is probably pretty, you know, if you can build it up high. So. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, there was a big scandal on that, but then it wasn't a scandal. And they're like not precluded. See, that's the craziest thing, right? BP, if BP knows that they're going to buy a gas station and close it or whatever, and it's going to tank stock prices or whatever, they can't action on those moves, right? If you have inside knowledge. If Congress, or whatever, man, if they know they're going to straight up like, no more oil. They're going to vote on that. They can load up on all the Tesla stock they want.
Yeah. Or they could short out.
They could short. They could do what. Why? Why, y'all? Because, well, I mean, that's how they make all their money. But
yeah. It's how they make most of their money. Yeah.
Yeah.
But people that go into politics, the salary for a senator or a congressman is still like hefty. I think it's like, isn't it like between $2,000 and $4,000?
It's a couple $100,000. But I want you to show me how you can make a couple $100,000
a year for like even 10 years.
Worth a couple $100 million.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Seriously. Please tell me, because I want to be worth that.
Yeah, and I don't understand like why no one else like is up in arms or like even upset about it. It feels like there's no one mad about it. Yeah, you know?
No one's mad. Well, because, all right, well then, we'll go down the whole conspiracy rabbit hole. But that's because how many times do you hear people, instead of going, wow, the U.S. government does a terrible job at controlling the value of my dollar, they say things are expensive.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's because your dollar doesn't buy as much. It's like, no, it's not that. It's like, well, just because you have more of them in your hand. It's like, remember 20 years ago when you made way less money and you had more of it somehow?
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people think of inflation as something cost more money than it costs, but really inflation is your dollar isn't worth as much as it used to be worth.
That's right.
So I think every year on average, obviously during COVID we had crazy different numbers, but on average isn't inflation considered about 3%?
That's what they shoot for.
So like every year, if you had $1, the next year you have 97 cents.
That's right.
And then 3% less than that, and 3% less than that, and you just keep going down. So over 20 years, that dollar is now down to a quarter, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So think about it, right? So even some of those folks that had some surpluses in the bank, even though after COVID, nothing happened to the bank, your money is still in there. It still says, let's say $1 million. But fast forward 5 years, and I mean, everybody's saying we're close, 20? Something like that. Well into the double digits of inflation over that period of time.
Right.
So your $1 million doesn't buy $1 million anymore. It buys $800,000 worth.
Right.
And non-duplicatable assets are now costing more money because, well, people are buying them up. There's all kinds of reasons, but so not only does your money buy less, things still cost more.
Yeah. Yeah. The prices are going up because supply and demand.
Yeah. Well, and because I'm going to have to take that money my profits and buy these new expensive things.
Yeah.
It's like one hand kind of washing the other. Yeah, crazy. And then the expensive money, with interest rates, entrepreneurs aren't able to get out there and solve as many problems.
Yeah,
reduce prices in places. And
I was actually talking to Kane today about our friend Kane is building out like a trailer park.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. So he's buying the trailer parks himself, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom ones. He's like nice, like stainless steel appliances stuff. He told me the price he's getting them for. I was like almost like mind blown, like how cheap they are because they needed 86, so they went straight to the manufacturer. So they cut out a dealer, which was a hefty chunk of that. Huge. So he told me all in like what he's at and how much rent he's going to charge, and essentially the math works out to after about like 5 years or so, you would be returning all that money unless you refinance. Right. But he told me their goal is to refinance and then pull all the money out and then open 2 more. Yep. Yeah. Yep. So.
Yep. So that's the play, man. You can do the infinite money thing where you get all your money back out through the refinance and then it floats itself. Then you have no money in the property. And so that's where you guys, when, I think we've talked a little bit about debt, but where you kind of have to manage like personal debt versus business debt. And if the business is covering the whole debt and still cash flowing to you, or at least just covering the whole debt, then you can take that cash, put it into the next thing. It's a non-taxable event. I mean, you pull $1 billion out of something, put it into another thing that cash flows.
The first time I ever heard about that was probably, 4 or 5 years ago now, but it was from the Burr method.
Yeah.
That's the Burr method. It's like buy, renovate.
Yep. Buy, renovate, rent,
refinance,
repeat.
Yeah.
Burr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the first time I had heard about that, and I was like, wait a second. You can buy a property, which obviously you got to have the money to buy that property, or at least put the down payment on it, Down payment. And then the money to renovate the property, unless you have a contractor that's willing to wait for the refinance.
Or hard
on
money
the
loans.
side.
Yeah, there's all kinds of loan products out there.
Yeah,
We've done it.
Yeah,
my wife and I have done a few.
Yeah. There are people that do it without any of their own money.
Yeah. I would say that shouldn't be you unless you are very
good on timelines.
Yes, and managing budgets and managing people and managing everything. Yeah, dude, for every home run, there are catastrophes. And so the guy that tells you he whipped out his credit card and, I did a credit card and then the leverage this and leverage. Okay, cool. But they'll take that house from you.
Yeah.
And then you'll be in debt and everything else. So anyways, but yeah, Burr method, it's great, was phenomenal pre-interest rates. I mean, Good luck doing that now. And who knows what the rate is going to be. Brandon Turner, I think, coined it. It may have been around before him. Bigger pockets guy, hugely successful with that. But, man, you burr your way all the way up to commercial multifamily. The thing a lot of people miss is that you stay at single family, single doors at a time. No, man, you learn that game and you find another couple of people. There are conferences all over the place. You find another couple of people that do, and then you do that shit with apartment complexes.
Yeah,
you just do it. Well, the debt is different. The people you get debt from is different. They have non-collateral debt once you build enough name or have enough net worth where they don't even come after you. I mean, I've never had anyone actually fail. I don't know anyone that's failed, but yeah, you have. I mean, yeah, you can. Anyways, you burr your way all the way up to commercial multifamily or flex space or just big stuff, because it's too stressful dealing with the fucking little small things all over the place.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you
got to start there.
You still got to deal with it, right? So if you got to deal with a contractor. Deal with a contractor dealing with 300 doors. Well, that sounds so crazy, but it's the same it's a different guy, but it's somebody.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
And so you're holding timelines. You're freaking out anyways, because if you're, an entrepreneur and you're used to getting things done and da-da-da-da-da, and it's just hectic doing remodels, y'all. It's not. Also, if you have the ability right now, build to rent, build it from new, you can hold your costs better. You can hold everything more accurate. You can hold timelines better. But rehabs, you get into the wall and you're like, oh, shit, I didn't know there was mold all in
right,
here. I don't know, galvanized pipes and just whatever. So you kind of have to plan for longer anyways. And then, once you do that, again, on scale, even with things with multiple doors, depending on how it's built, turn one phase online, turn another phase online,
right.
Have revenue coming in.
I have some good news to share with you.
What's up?
But I don't know if Christian's done it or not. So
CP.
it'll be on. This will be. I'm going to tell you on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Kroger called, and they want to do a full line review for megabytes, wholesale cookies, and baked cookies.
Let's
So
go, boys. Let's go. Hell yeah.
So Kroger is one of the largest,
Yes, they
if
are
not
huge.
the largest, outside of the clubs.
Yeah. They got to be of the ownerships of space because they own a bunch of brands too.
Yeah. Yeah. So
sick.
they are very interested in
Another
our
grocery
products.
store that's not here.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, here we have Publix,
I know.
and
Come on,
we're
Publix.
working through with Publix
Come
right
on,
now.
Publix.
We're just trying to finalize the numbers and everything for them. And then Myers, apparently, our food distributor Myers have talked, and so they're setting up shipments in the next couple of weeks. So I expect by Easter,
Yeah.
that's end of March,
Yeah.
that we should have our products in the Myers location. So it's,
Come see y'all, Myers.
yeah, I know. We need to go up there. So it's crazy to think, though, we've been working on this for so long.
Dude.
So long. Like even the discussions with Myers and then getting the PO and then like how it's going. So it's just been a long road.
Inching along.
And then we have like 120 store rollout with Target.
Yep.
That's going to be coming, I think, at the end of April-ish kind of time frame.
Well, man, I mean, we're growing and going, man. Like you feel it. You see, we're both in the kitchen having to deal with swells. We're having swells where our order swells are coming up and
So I think that
choking us out.
I've always been very transparent in Fat and Weird's business. So just so people know, we have mainly freezers on site, but then we have two really big refrigerators. To combine, they're probably about 200 square feet between both of them, and we are now converting those into freezers because we need the space, and we're adding an additional fridge that's only about a little bit over 100 square feet, I think, or so close to that. Just because, like, truth is, other than butter and eggs, like, nothing else really goes in the fridge. So a lot of the stuff that's in our fridge right now is just in there because it's like an easier place to store it sometimes. So, but yeah, so we're converting that so that we can have two more, so we can add another 200 square feet of freezer space because we have about 1,000 square feet of freezer space.
Yeah, and so y'all know, man, we're dealing with Brad and I are pushing to, when we talk about making more cookies, it's in the thousands, right? We're trying to get thousands more out the door per day.
Yeah.
Baking,
and
I've ordered
another another rack oven, just a single rack oven.
Yep.
But
we got another big oven coming. We got the fridge going in.
Another flow wrapper.
We got another flow wrapper coming. So
more racks.
Yep. So we should be able to, effectively double our output.
Yeah, my goal is
Which
that we should be able to, like, I want to get to the point where we can easily bake 15,000 cookies a day.
Every day.
We'll have two people just running the ovens like nonstop. And then from there, you just got to kind of like slowly scale everything up. It's a very difficult process on the scale up because you know where you need to be, but you don't financially necessarily have the means to be where you need to be, and you have to kind of like throw the pieces in right when you can finally do them. And I think that's the most difficult thing is making sure that you have enough staffing, which we don't right now. So we're trying to work on getting more people here. So if you are in the area and you want to chop it fat and weird, please hit me up.
Yeah, sure.
So.
But yeah, that's the thing, man. The entrepreneurial space, when you don't have the tool or the part, you're the tool or the part, and so we're figuring it out. We're making some logistics changes with or staffing, I guess, planning, looking at hiring more bodies. I mean, we're growing. We got to be the fastest growing cookie company right now. I've read on the news what Crumble's doing, so y'all can read it yourself. But they're not doing so good. Nobody in the retail space is doing good.
Well.
Right now.
I mean, I know I looked at it not like too terribly recently, probably like almost a month ago when I was talking to you about it. They've shut down like 5 locations. They've downsized the average come by like 60 to 70 employees, and now they're down to like 10 to 12 employees per location.
Well, they went from record openings to standard daily use numbers, and that's bad for a business like that. Like if you can't. Because it's hype based anyways.
That's hard when it's hype based.
Yeah, and it's tough. See, we're in the e-com space. We can be in your face a little bit more. you got to remember about the brand. Even knowing about them, you just don't think that go over there. If it's not on your regular route home or it's not on to work or whatever, you have to be like reminded like, oh, I should drive over here and buy cookies to take wherever, or, you know, and I don't know, something about it. It's not, I would remember donuts. I feel, because it's in the morning, I would grab them on the way into work, bring them to my coworkers. It'd be tougher to go in the middle of the day, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
They've got some stuff, you know, maybe they'll work out on their end, but.
Well, yeah, and I feel like, too, we've talked about this, where when you start getting worried and you start fracturing your focus, like I know they recently did like those hand pies, and they're doing like a cereal collab and stuff. And it's like, obviously, it's like, sure, if it brings in revenue for you guys, then great. But sometimes you get off into the weeds on some of this other stuff, and you forget about like your business that made your business, you know? So
y'all your business of pink boxes and just meh cookies. Yeah.
And so, I mean, you know, I had the option to go, essentially, do I want to work into wholesale or do I want to work on franchise? And I mean, it was tough. I mean, I prayed about it a lot. I mean, we had offers from a big franchise group that was like, we want to be partners with you. And they were like essentially making it dirt cheap to start the franchise process. They were going to handle all the paperwork and stuff.
Take all the money later too.
I felt like that it was all. It reminded me of the Froyo situation, and I felt like what was going to happen is
that's TCBY, bro. They're going to fucking crush. Yeah,
you're going to have Crumble. You're going to have all these other cookie places that are starting to work on franchising.
Market's going to saturate,
and then it's only
everybody's going to race themselves to the bottom, and they're all going to fail. Yeah, I mean, look at Subway. Jersey Mike's is kind of a little resurgence. You know, we've got, what's the other, Jimmy John's.
Firehouse.
But there was like Blimpies and there was like 4 or 5 sub shops in Panama City.
Right.
And this is a little old Panama City, and it was way smaller when I was younger.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, they've kind of had to like come and fight back a little bit. And
but isn't Subway the biggest franchise in the world?
It's
the most franchises.
Most locations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, they have a ton. Like
they are owned wholly outright by a handful of families that own businesses like that. So they have had a hard time wrestling with brand standards. So y'all have probably been to a lot of like less than clean or less than updated, dull colors. Like, because they're like, what are you going to do?
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, but no, you're right. I mean, I think we have a Firehouse still, right?
Yep.
And then we have Jimmy John's.
Yep. And we got Jersey Mike's.
Where's Jersey Mike's?
Right across from the gym.
Oh, okay. I don't even think I've ever been to Jersey Mike's.
It's pretty good.
Unless you probably picked it up out of here.
Yeah.
So
Italian subs are pretty good from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, man, the retail space is kind of tough. And as a franchisor, if you're on your business like you should be, I really feel like you're a real estate team. Like you're just, and how you could manage that many locations, but just like the ebbs and flows and like, yeah, I mean, really though, see, in my thought, it would be, you would need to know 10 years out somehow, like you're copied on the DOT plans, like, like the center of Panama City is about to move to right outside Sweetback. Once they build that big shopping center and everything else, everybody's going to think that's the middle of town.
Well, yeah, when
from 23rd Street, basically Walmart.
Well, I had a discussion with the city, and they said, listen, like everything started on 15th Street.
Yeah.
Then it went to 23rd Street, and now it's going to 390.
Yep.
And that's what happens. It's like, they find the next area to build up. Really, there's nowhere to go after 390, though, unless you go back up to 15th Street.
Right. No, I mean, that's going to just kind of be the center
hub
of town, I think.
Yeah, and what I'm talking about is like they're building literally. It was the largest master plan community in our area.
Yep.
And on top of that, it's all golf cart friendly. There's apartment complexes inside there, and then they're building what they call the town center, which is going to have a Publix and a bunch of like storefronts and stuff in there. So it'll single-handedly be, and it has its own school already. So it's kind of its own little.
Well, and they're all moving to the master plan communities, and the cities don't want to have to deal with the infrastructure, or the utilities and all that stuff. So they're making like the developer do a lot of it, or all of it. And I would think as a national franchisor, especially in the food space or anything where you need to be where the people are, I feel like your whole team should be devoted to like innovating your product and finding out where your location should be.
Right.
And then it's like Panama City, you need to move. You need to move over here.
Yeah.
Like get ready, make it plans, you
Right.
know, do it right. Or, hey, we need more stores. Because, you know, they'll tell you, hey, we think we can handle volume. We want to build another store in the area. And then you run the traffic reports, do all the same diligence.
Yeah, but good luck building anywhere on 390. Side note,
no,
I mean,
you'd have to get a hold of it.
Well, no, we had some land that we put some offers on 390. But when we found out about that flood zone change,
Oh, yeah.
there's all that's flood zones and
We were
stuff.
bidding
So
on
you won't
where
be
the-
able to like get half of that.
We were trying to get where that gas station was.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
is right
Yeah.
there. But then they found out a gas station might want it. And then gas stations always pay.
Right.
Or banks. If they get word that a gas station or a bank's going to go in there, like, if y'all have ever tried, I mean, we were trying to get a deal on the land, you know, I'm like, oh, I can't do anything with it, da-da-da-da. But you can always chop up a little corner and put a gas station on it.
Right.
Obviously, I didn't get it.
Yeah. So, but no, we're just with that whole piece, like Florida, Panama City specifically, just did a rule where if you had flood zones, you essentially can't affect your flood zones. Like you have to swap uplands for flood zone type thing. So if you have 3 acres of land and 2 acres are flood zones, then you can only build on 1 acre, unless you can like dig enough. It's teacup for teacup is what they call it. But long story short, you're pretty much now a third of your land's useless. Yep. And the big issue with most of that frontage on 390 is it's low. Yep. So it's flood zones, which means you can't build on it. So
it means we can't. It means freaking government can do what they want.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, they would.
Yep.
Well, someone with deep enough pockets to figure it out.
True
how
that.
to do it, so.
Yeah, true that. Do some trading.
Yeah, for sure. They'll get the land for cheap and then they'll do some kind of swap.
Deal.
Yeah, that's how it always goes. This is it. I think that's it.
Yeah. Good podcast.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so.
We got to go downstairs anyways.
That's what I'm thinking about getting racks.
Yeah, we need to go downstairs and make sure that everything's going well. But thank you for joining us in the oven. You're worth it. Do hard shit.